Hello, 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 hello. It's Friday. Friday, 12:30, I do these little chats about wellness. Hi, April. Wellness, yoga, life. And this week I had, for me, a little bit of a stressful week. Oh my God. The week goes by so fast, doesn't it? It was just yesterday, it was Friday. So some things happened this week, and it's really, for me, it's about, and April, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk, the first thing I say here that I get into. I'm gonna go over HALT. Dun, 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 dun. But I had a little bit of a stressful week, and for me, it's about how you deal with that, how you deal with the stress, the frustration, the anger that comes up, the emotions that come along with that. So it's not really about whether or not you get all those things, but it's how you deal with it, right? And what kind of training do we have to deal with those things in our lives? It comes from what? Maybe childhood, or mirroring of behavior that we had shown to us from adults when we were younger, right? Things that we saw, reactions, etc. So I'm not going to get too into the details of things that happened for me in my life this week that caused me some stress and frustration, but it had to do with other people not doing what I thought they should be doing. So here I was, really in my business, and also as a parent. So communication is key. So I did have some communication stuff that really cleared things up for me as a parent, in the parenting sense. And then we cleared some things up that had to be cleared up in the business sense as well, which helped. But what do you do with that stuff? What do you do with that frustration and that stress, and how can we help manage it? Hi, Jen. How can we help manage it a little bit better? We all have it. We all have stress. For me personally, hey, Sean. For me personally, yoga is a major, obviously, right? I'm a yoga teacher, I have a yoga business. But yoga is a major, major, major catalyst for me to relieve that stress and that tension. And community, so it's not just about the actual moving of the body and the meditation parts. Hey, Tony. It's about the community too. So being together, laughing, enjoying each other, being loving, being kind, considerate, compassionate, right? All these things that we're doing when we're in a community that's nurturing and supportive is helping us to form those behaviors for other communities that we're a part of outside of that, which is pretty cool. So anyway, when I was writing some notes down about this, the first thing that came up for me that I thought of was the word HALT. And this is something that is taught in 12-step recovery programs. If you've never been a part of a 12-step recovery program, it's one of the main things that really stood out for me. And HALT is a way for us to recognize, hi cats, dog lovers, I own a yoga studio and a business. I own a yoga business. And we have yoga classes. So HALT is a great way to, when we're feeling those things, when we're feeling those emotions, or feeling just out of place. If you remember the word HALT, this is what it stands for, okay? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And if you ask yourself those questions, am I hungry, am I angry, am I lonely, am I tired? That's I think for the large portion of us, that's probably one of those is gonna be, the answer is gonna be yes. Yes. So how can we solve those issues in our lives if the answer is yes to those things? So it sounds like obvious stuff, right? Hungry, right? For me personally, I'm only going to speak from my personal life here. I'm not great at knowing, giving myself that routine. I'm getting better. I'm 45 years old and I'm getting better now. But giving myself this routine of food and nourishment, and knowing that it's not just about those hunger pains that you get, when you're feeling hungry, oh my gosh, I should eat something, right? It's getting to yourself before that happens. Because for me personally, if I am hungry, it affects me in so many other ways, right? For one thing it does to me is my blood sugar. It gets so affected by this. So if I keep up on it, my blood sugar stays maintained, my emotions stay better in check. I'm not tired, like I would be if my blood sugar was low. There's a lot of things that are affected for me with nutrition. So keeping a routine for that is one way that we can help ourselves not get to that point where we're in a crisis mode, because then what happens is we then start to replenish and try to eat or drink or whatever it is that we're missing. And now we have to kind of catch up. For some of us, it's not immediate, that sensation that we have of feeling better, right? We need some time. Or sometimes for me personally, I'm going to again talk from my place, it could take like 8 hours, where I'm wiped. If I forget to eat properly or drink properly, it wipes me out, or I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Like I get that sensation in my body, like what is wrong with me? It feels heavy. And then I'm just like, I'm totally wiped. And I need like somebody to help me figure it out, sort of thing. Like, why am I feeling this emotion? Why am I upset about something that's not really a big deal? All those things. Okay, so that's hunger. So feed yourself, healthy routine, healthy food. Vitamins is a big thing, in my opinion, for my life, especially as we get older. It's something to think about. There might be things that are changing in your body depending on the stage that you're in, that different sorts of vitamins will help support you through that stage in your life. And especially if it comes up a lot for you. If hunger is something that routinely comes up for you, that causes problems in your life, create yourself a routine. Let's go on to anger, okay? Am I angry? So we're spelling out the word halt. So halt, okay? Am I hungry? Am I angry? Now, with anger, is this a normal thing that comes up for you, right? These are some questions that we can ask ourselves. Is this a normal thing that comes up for us? Is it a go-to reaction? Whether or not you can blame that on somebody else, meaning like a behavior that you were taught from childhood, right? We don't want to go there, okay? Because now we're adults, unless you're a child watching this. Now we're adults and we're responsible for our own stuff, right? We can't go back and say, take care of me because this is what was caused in my childhood, to an adult that, might have had a behavior that affected us negatively as children. So now we have to grow up, we have to mature, we have to get that support that we need to take care of these emotions. So is anger a go-to reaction? If so, have you thought about exploring that, right? Maybe writing about it, anger management tools or classes, different ways to handle anger. Sometimes there might be a little depression in there. So just kind of exploring that a little bit more and figuring that part of it out, rather than it just being this automatic thing that happens, right? When you're in that halt place and you're exploring, is it hunger? Is it anger? Am I lonely? Is it tiredness, right? If anger is the one that comes up for you more often than not, then maybe there's something there that's worth exploring in yourself and in a loving way. With no real need to do too much dissecting of it, just being aware of it, recognizing that it's happening, giving yourself more love and understanding and kindness, and maybe writing about it, journaling about it, reading positive messages that will help you. There's so many books that you can get that, have like a daily reading or meditation that will help support you through those things. There's phone calls you could make. There's 12-step recovery programs you can be a part of, which I highly recommend those things for sure. The next thing is lonely, okay? So in the word halt, if lonely comes up for you, I find that sometimes we can be lonely, maybe even the loneliest, even when others are around us. And what I'm trying to say there is, if you're not around people who are like-minded or perhaps don't support you in your life, who are critical about you and your life, or the communication just really isn't there, there's not a loving, compassionate communication happening, then it can be a very lonely place to be. And I think that, a lot of us can relate to that. So it's important to, I think, talk about it and acknowledge it and know that we're not alone in that emotion. And once we recognize it and we become aware of it, then we can be more active in seeking out those places, those communities, those people that help support us. Thank you, April. That support us in a more loving and healthy way. So like-minded people, for example, or people who are supportive of us, not judgmental of us. And it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. So do you feel lonely? Can you pick up the phone? Can you plan a date with someone, right? Ask for help. This is like the hardest thing for people to do, is just pick up the phone and ask for help, or reach out in some way and just say, please, I'm suffering right now, and I could really use some support. It would be hard for somebody to say no to that, I think, especially somebody who really cares about you. If you're genuine and you reach out for that love and that kindness and that support, right? The last thing of the word halt is tired, right? Which, oh my God, we're all tired sometimes. We're all tired and cranky, right? I think about little babies. Hello, everybody. Little babies who get tired, right? And what do? We put them down for a nap, right? And you can tell when a baby or a child is cranky. They're rubbing their eyes and all that stuff. Adults, we don't have a lot of those signs. I mean, we do. But we don't recognize them like we do in children, which is kind of funny because we're just a bigger human, really, So establishing a healthy routine for that as well, right? So we have the healthy eating routine for the hungry part of it, of the word halt. And then if you're feeling tired, if this is a regular occurrence for you, find a healthy routine to help give yourself some rest. Now, I have some pillows here. We're gonna take a nap. We're gonna go over some restorative yoga poses in just a moment. But even if you can't fit in a full rest, right? So we always hear the number 8, right? The 8 hours of sleep thing, right? Even if you can't fit in that amount of time to get the rest that you need, or maybe you're lying there awake in the night, it's so frustrating when that happens. Maybe just try plugging in a couple of times a day, even if it's just one time a day. Don't overwhelm yourself with, oh my God, I gotta get this in twice a day or whatever it is. Maybe it's just once a day, where you lay down in one of these restorative poses that I'm gonna show you, and just take a break. take 5 minutes just to breathe and be present and feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Feel the mind just becoming a little bit less cluttered, right? Because we're focusing on the breath. 5 minutes. And you can set your timer on your phone. We all have phones or watches or something that you can set a timer on. So things like that are going to help with that tiredness, right? That little break that you can give yourself, that little restorative moment in your day. This made me think about people in the world who might have work or different things going on in life, parenting, that doesn't really afford you the luxury to get the full rest that you need in order to feel refreshed. And that's going to affect us mentally, right? On so many different levels. It's going to affect the way that we do nourish ourselves in all different ways, spiritually, mentally, with food. So some of us just don't have that luxury. So scheduling in those 5-minute sessions once a day, twice a day, just to see if that helps us to feel a little bit better with that. Legs up the wall is a popular thing to do in yoga. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you scoot yourself right against the wall and stick your legs up the wall. Maybe put something over your eyes to help calm your eyes, and just breathe. 5 minutes, that's all it really takes, okay, to feel a little bit better. So here are some things, recognizing the feelings when we're in the feelings, okay? So are you stressed? Are you tired? Are you angry? Are you feeling emotive? Are you feeling like you're triggered really easily, right? Frustrated? And recognize when you're in that moment, the key is to train ourselves to stop right there. So halt, right? And dissect what's going on in that moment. Recognize it, become aware of it. So stop what's going on. It reminds me of like a movie where, things stop and everything around you is still moving. It's like a still frame. I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's what it reminds me of. So if you can do that, if you can just stop and recognize the feelings when you're actually in them. Maybe you carry around a book with you, like a journal or something, or a recording on your phone, okay? Where you just start building up a little routine with this, and you say, oh, you know what, I'm feeling something, let me get my recording out, right? And right now I'm feeling this because of this, okay? Right now I'm feeling this because of this, and I'm recognizing that I'm feeling this right now, and I'm breathing, right? You don't have to solve the problem, you don't have to do anything more than that, just recognizing it when you're actually in it. And then asking yourself, right, taking a moment, why exactly do I feel this way, right? Or maybe you finish off your day at the end of every day, whenever it is that you have time to do this, and you listen to those recordings, okay? Or you look back at your journal and you say, why exactly do I feel this way? Right? We all have this intuition in our lives where really we know on that wisdom level, we know what's going on with us, right? So just sometimes it's taking the time to slow down and say, why do I feel this way? How can I relax and let go? We're going to go over a couple of things, like I said, a couple of meditations, and I want to show you a couple of yoga relaxation poses. How can I relax and let go, right? So sometimes it's about training ourselves how to do that, because a lot of us aren't taught this as we grow up. We're not taught how to relax and let go, right? We're taught how to be stressed and crazy for the most part, and keep moving through that. Imagine what's going on with your body and your mind if you don't slow down, right? Your whole life. You're a basket case, because this is what we go through. We're taught this stuff. We're not really taught the relaxation and the letting go part of it. So we're gonna go through some stuff today. How how can I be more compassionate and understanding, right? So like I was saying before, for me, I had a couple of stressful things go on this week. And it was really in response to those around me. As a parent, I had something with one of my children. And then in my business, I had something happen that was out of my control. Actually, I had a couple of things happen that were out of my control. And both of them were technologically based. So, out of my control to an extent, let's put it that way. But in the moment that I was in, that I was frustrated and I was stressed, I didn't have control in that moment. But I did learn some lessons, that's for sure. So when you're actually in that moment where something else is affecting you, hi Chris, when something else or somebody else is affecting you, right, and you're responding to that, when you're in that moment, how can I be more understanding and compassionate towards that person or towards this situation? Maybe it's towards myself, right? How can I be more understanding and compassionate towards this situation, myself, or that person? And then focusing on breathing and focusing on the positives, right? Rather than getting focused on that negative stuff, right? And talking about it and talking to other people about it and stirring up this whole thing, right? That's us focusing more on that thing and making it much bigger than it has to be, right? So instead, training ourselves to focus on the positives and focus on breathing. So those are really good tools. There are 2 meditations that I thought of, and before I get to that, these are just some things besides meditation and a couple of restorative yoga poses that we're going to cover. A little list of things that might be something that could help all of us through these stressful, frustrating, anger, emotive types of times in our lives. Restorative yoga is one of them. I'm going to show you those poses. Yoga Nidra is another one, and that's a deep guided meditation. There is one on my YouTube channel, Kara Yoga. You can go and check that out. Just search Yoga Nidra and that'll pop up. It's just me or whoever is guiding you in this meditation is talking to you about your body and just labeling your body parts. And as that happens, you're resting, you're breathing, doing nothing, not sleeping. But the idea is just to listen to the voice of the person who's talking and focus on the body part that they mention. So we start on one side of the body and then we go to the other side of the body, and literally it's right hand thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger. That's how fast it goes, and you go through each body part and all you do is listen and relax, and that's it. And it brings you into a state where you're sort of like coming in and out of consciousness a little bit, right? And that place, when you're in that, you can learn how to heal. Your body can heal itself. That's the science, the idea of the science behind the Nidra. So we do that in some of my classes as well. So definitely, if you come to yoga and you request it, so many people would be like, yeah, could we have Yoga Nidra tonight? And then I'll plug it in at the end of the classes sometimes, usually on Monday nights. So think about coming to class sometime. So we have those 2 things, and we have meditation. Comedy. How does laughter help your life? I can't stop laughing sometimes. Right before this video today, my son and I, we made up a song and we were laughing, and it was about him, like being silly or whatever. I'm not going to tell you the details, but whatever. Laughing, right? So, and the other thing I like to do personally is watch comedy shows. I love comedians. I love hearing comedians talk. I think they're so funny and clever. So things that make you laugh, right? Maybe even sometimes forcing yourself to laugh, even that is hilarious to do. You know what I mean? And it's funny to watch somebody doing that, which then makes you laugh. So it could be a whole thing. It could be a whole thing. So laughter is very important. Healthy diet, vitamins, replacing things that you're missing. Like-minded community, helping others. That's a big one. You know what I mean? Helping others, getting us out of ourselves, out of our own stuff that we like to cling. We love to cling our stuff to us. It's like you're a big refrigerator and you have the magnets all over you, you know what I mean? You gotta get the magnets off. Get them off. And help others. Let stuff go. Breathe. This is just a list of stuff. Share your feelings. Share your feelings with someone who will listen. Not somebody who is there to try and fix your feelings or fix what's going on with you. And, a lot of people who are willing to sit and listen to your issues, your sharings, whatever it is you want to talk about, if you say to them, look, I really just need somebody to talk to right now. Would you mind just listening to me and not feel like you need to fix me or solve my problems, but it would really help me a lot if I knew somebody was just there to just listen to me and, help me, just be here with me. All right. So a lot of people, if we say that right from the start, I think most people want to fix things and want to solve problems for other people. But it's a great thing to practice, communicating that to others and saying, this is what I need. Are you able to help me right now? Right? But it's hard. It's easier said than done, because when you're in that place and you need to talk and you need somebody to just be there to listen, it's hard to actually say those things, right? So maybe to help that situation, you can write it down, write down, have it written beforehand, those words that you want to say when you feel like you need to have those moments in life. So now you have this written thing that's ready for the go at any time that you need it. So share your feelings. Hugs are good, right? Especially during this pandemic, right? How many people did you miss hugging, right? For those of us who are able to get together and hug people again, it's amazing. It's such a good feeling, right? And making it like more than just a hug, like make it a hold. You know what I'm saying? It's a hold. Holding each other and really feeling that healing that's happening in the hug. Pets are a great thing if you like pets, if you like animals. I find them to be very helpful in helping with diffusing emotions like anger and frustration and stress. Gratitude list. Oh my God. What a healing thing to have a gratitude list every single day, right? And something that my husband and I have been doing for several months now is every day we share a gratitude list, just 3 things with each other about our relationship, right? And it's a very cool exercise that you can actually do with anybody. And you could do it with yourself. Just sit down every single day, have your gratitude list, journal, whatever it is, or maybe even just say it out loud, It doesn't have to be written down. Today I'm grateful for these 3 things or 5 things or whatever it is. But make a point of doing that every single day. So, I talked a little bit about what happened with me this week. I want to show you a couple of restorative yoga poses that can help us through stressful times, just to relax and breathe. Now, before I talk about that, a couple of meditation things. Metta meditation, if you don't know what metta meditation is, it's a really great way to learn compassion. Metta is loving kindness, right? So It's a wonderful tool to just sit, breathe, and think about sending good vibrations, really. Hi, Susan. Bringing good vibrations out into the world, okay? So we can start with ourselves. So if our foundation, if we're good in ourselves, that's only going to bring good things to those around us, right? So metta meditation is very simple. May I, may you, and may all beings, okay? And in that, you can add, may this person in my life who I'm having trouble with, who I'm struggling with, may they also, okay? So this is how it works. You just sit and you think to yourself, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free, right? So free from what? Free from stress, free from anxiety, free from whatever it is that again, we allow to attach to us, okay? So may I be free. And then we think about the people around us, right? So maybe there's a loved one in your life that you feel like could use a little extra love. May he or she or they be happy, peaceful, free, right? And you can close your eyes, you can visualize this happening, you can see them surrounded with a beautiful warm blanket helping to comfort them. You can see them and yourself being held in the hands of a powerful, maybe the universe, or if you believe in God, right? So maybe this is what you visualize. So you can create a visualization. And then, because every living being deserves, the idea behind it of metta meditation is that every living being deserves loving kindness. Every living being deserves to be loved and to be treated with kindness. So now we think about somebody in our lives who we have trouble with, we're having a hard time with, okay? You can visualize them, you can picture them, and say, eyes closed, open, whatever, may they be happy, peaceful, and free. And then we move on to the whole world, and we just make this whole global thing happen. May all beings, may all living beings be happy, peaceful, and free. And, we can sit as long as we want and do something like that. As long as we feel like it helps us to really attach to that vibration, right? Because that's what it is, it's a vibration. So we want to bring ourselves there. And that vibration is going to be in us, and then we, like I said before, are just going to spread that wherever we go. It's a beautiful thing. And then the other meditation is called Just Like Me meditation. And the most powerful way to practice this is looking into the eyes of somebody. And they don't even have to know that you're doing this meditation, but just remembering these words when you're looking at somebody or in the eyes of somebody. Maybe you have a picture of them, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking in their eyes in this picture, okay? It doesn't have to be in person. Just like me, hi Nikki, just like me, this person is seeking happiness in their life, right? And this can be anybody, right? This can be any living being. Just like me, this person is seeking happiness in their life. Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering. Just like me, this person wants to be loved. Just like me, this person deserves to be treated with respect and care. So these are words that can be adopted, and if we learn them and we can repeat them in our mind, even if it's just one sentence out of that whole little paragraph, it can help us find more compassion and love for every living being around us. So remembering that in some way, every single other being is suffering. So it brings us all on the same level playing field as each other, right? If we remember that each of us is suffering in some way, right? Social media is a horrible tool that doesn't really remind us of that, right? We look at social media, we look at people's pictures, we look at their Facebook lives, right? And everything looks wonderful, right? It looks great. And it only makes us feel worse about our lives because we know that in some way we're suffering, right? But if we look at people in a different way, it's going to help us to be more compassionate for everybody. So just like me, this person is seeking happiness in their life, right? Everybody wants to be happy, just like me. This person is trying to avoid suffering. Just like me, this person wants to be loved. Just like me, this person deserves to be treated with respect and care. Now imagine that we practice that in every single relationship that we have. Imagine every person that we meet, we practice that. How amazing would that be? Be amazing. So I'm going to go over a couple of restorative poses that you can try. Now, like I said before, and for those of you who missed the beginning of this, you can always go back and find the replay. And it'll also be on our YouTube channel, Kara Yoga, so go check that out. Legs up the wall is something that I mentioned earlier. Another thing that you can do is just take some pillows from your couch and lie them down. You can have them tilted, you can have them flat, a nice reclined position. If you have a yoga bolster, you can lay on that, and you're just gonna literally lie onto the pillows and rest your arms out to the sides. Let your head rest, let your legs extend forward, and just breathe. And restorative postures are great if you can do them for about 5 minutes, maybe even 7 at a time. Legs up the wall is an option. This is an option, and I'm going to show you one more if I can fit it in the screen. Good. So that's one. And then I'm going to take these pillows and I'm going to stack them to, I just want to make a nice high enough position for my legs to go up and over. So you might lose my head here. I'm not losing my head. You might lose my head. So I want to lie down and I want to bring my legs over these cushions. And now you can make this as high as you want. You can even use your couch if you'd rather, right? With the legs up on the seat of the couch. So lying down like that, there goes my head, and you're resting as much as you can. I really don't want to get up. Okay, so those are a couple of different positions that you can do. So remembering legs up the wall, legs over the cushions, back over the cushions. Those are just a few, and there's so many more that can be done restoratively. We do these talks every Friday. If there's a topic that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to email, DM me, whatever it is, and we can discuss. If you'd like to join in on any of these topics, I'm happy to have you join in. We can discuss beforehand what you'd like to discuss, and we can do it together. And I'll see you next Friday, 12:30. You can catch this replay. You can go to YouTube, Kara Yoga, catch it there. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And if you have any questions about anything that I brought up today, please let me know. We're all going through this world together, this life together, and I know that we can help each other out. Have a great rest of the day. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Miriam.